Today we're going to be talking about AI music and what it means for you as a listener and what it may mean for you as a musician. Let's get right into it. Around 2014, I was working on new music for my band's first full-length record. It was turning out to be somewhat of a concept record, and dynamically I wanted it to be structured like some of my favorite concept records from the past. Pink Floyd's The Wall or The Black Parade, Colors from Between the Buried and Me. And so this particular piece of music that I was working on at the time was one of those songs that would end up in the sort of middle section where dynamically things start to get a lot quieter before they build back up for the conclusion of the record. So naturally, as far as the instrumentation, everything kind of needs to be a bit softer. And so I had guitars primarily making up the track. The rhythm guitar had lots of reverb, playing a lot of sort of simplistic chords, clean signal, nothing crazy. And as far as the lead guitar, some delay, some reverb, and a lot of trying to emulate almost like a string section by playing a lot of tremolo picking lightly on the high E and B strings. It was the kind of approach that to me was reminiscent of artists like Matt Bellamy from the band Muse. And yet it still kind of had this other unique flavor involved in the whole presentation as well. To me, it kind of sounded like if I was in a studio working with Matt Bellamy and John Mayer on a single track. And so I thought it would be kind of funny if I posted a video to my Instagram of just a panning shot of my computer screen with the tracks playing, one labeled Matt Bellamy, one labeled John Mayer. And then in the caption, write, in the studio with Matt Bellamy from Muse and John Mayer. And then an assortment of hashtags after that. And I figured my music friends that know me would be like, oh, I get it, I see what you're doing. But then something wild happened, and I started getting bombarded with all these messages from not just Instagram, but also Twitter, because that was back when you could link the two together, and one post would go to both places. So I was getting all these tweets and all these messages from both Instagram and Twitter at the same time of people that are like, what's the song? What album is it going to be on? I need details. What's going on? And not just individual people. There were a couple Latin American news outlets that also reached out to me and retweeted my tweet of this post. And it became this whole big stir on Twitter and Instagram. And obviously I eventually came out and told everyone what the truth was. I wasn't actually anyone of significance, and I'm certainly not in the studio with Matt Bellamy or John Mayer. I'm just some dude with a guitar and an abundance of reverb plugins. But what that situation outlined for me is that if you present a fake of something in a convincing enough way, people will believe that it's the real thing. And this is where we get into the topic of AI music. Now, there's lots of points that have been made in regards to pop and hip-hop by the likes of Anthony Fantano and Sean C. But what about rock and metal? What's going on there? Is there anything going on there? As far as musicians that exist within the genres of rock and metal, we're kind of in a unique position because you don't have to look very far through the internet to find someone who's giving away their guitar tones or amp sims or something of that nature, a digital representation of something that someone else possesses. You can buy drum packs, you can buy IRs or impulse responses of other people's speaker cabinets, and it's even possible to use AI technology to do mastering on your songs. And so for the most part, the only real unique variable in all these musical equations as far as rock and metal is the vocals. And there's certainly no reason why you couldn't use real life instrumentation on a song that has AI vocals. So how long do you think it's going to be before we start seeing previously unreleased songs from bands like Soundgarden or Nirvana? And again, it's interesting as far as these genres are concerned because you look all over YouTube, there's countless instances where someone's doing a cover of someone's song in the style of someone else. And so if someone was to put out the audio of a song they made with AI vocal tracks, but they played all the instruments on it and then posted up online for everyone's consumption, are we going to be okay with that? And getting back to what I was saying about the previously unreleased music thing, You don't have to look very far online to find patches, tone prints, IRs, and all that stuff that are made to be the exact style of whatever artist you're trying to sound like. Like if you want your guitar to sound like Zakk Wylde, you could probably go online and find something that'll help you do that. And if you don't find a digital thing to do it, you can get a pedal, you can get a guitar. He's got a signature guitar you can buy. You can get Kurt Cobain's signature guitar. You can get whatever piece of tech that these other artists that you look up to and that you want to emulate, whatever they used is available to you for the most part. And you might be saying, well, it can't be that good for all vocal types because everyone's got different sorts of ways that they present themselves vocally. And some singers have very unique voices, like a Joe Cocker or a Tom Waits. I don't know. There's no market to do an AI Tom Waits cover, right? Probably not. But even as we speak right now, the technology attached to AI is just getting better and better. And all the little shortcomings that existed before are being refined. And it's getting real hard to discern what is fake from what's real. A prime example of this would be that new Weeknd Drake collaboration that was put up on the internet not too long ago that everyone was up in arms about. And it leads me into my next question, because if you were aware of what was going on with that whole thing, immediately the record companies got it taken off of everywhere online. But how long until these record companies get a hold of this technology and start using it for their own benefit? Because if these record companies were smart and were in the business of trying to make as much money as they possibly can, which they are, then rather than pressing charges against these people they catch using AI to put out a song that sounds like one of their artists, they would be hiring these people to work for them. And another thing to keep in mind when it comes to record labels is that ownership as a concept is something that gets put in this sort of weird gray area in most cases for most artists. And so you don't really own the songs that you're creating and putting out and performing and touring on. They're kind of owned by the record label. And so with that gray area, what exactly is keeping these record companies from continuing to profit off of you after you're gone? This used to be done by putting out releases from artists after they pass away that just consisted of like B-sides, outtakes, unreleased material, stuff like that. But what if the record label could put out some new material that was written by someone else and they want to have your vocals on that track? So yeah, I don't know about you, but I find that to be a bit concerning. I'm a bit worried. And this isn't the only instance of AI technology being used for nefarious purposes. We've seen those videos that someone made of audio of Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Barack Obama playing Call of Duty together. And that's fine, I guess. But its use has also done damage to real people, in this case YouTubers that have come to find that their likeness has been used in explicit materials without their consent. And who's to say that you, as an up-and-coming artist, are not susceptible to being taken advantage of by AI technology that can take audio of your voice or that can mimic your body movements in video and have you say or do things that are going to scar your public image? Because if you're not a big artist, if something bad like that happens, everyone is going to assume that it's true and that you're a bad person, and that's just going to ruin your career. And at this point, it's also a question of whether or not the cat can be put back in the bag at this point. Because what are these platforms like Apple Music, Spotify, and whoever else supposed to do? Are they going to ask that if you're uploading AI music to their platform that you somehow present it like you would present an ad on Instagram with a hashtag ad in the caption so that people know that you're trying to sell them something? Is there going to be some new age parental advisory sticker attached to the image that's uploaded with your song to Spotify and Apple Music? Now, there's some instances where AI technology, as far as music is concerned, I think can be beneficial. For example, let's say you are recording at home and you've recorded all your tracks, you've organized them in your session, and you've mixed everything to your liking. And now you're at the mastering stage, but you don't know what you want to do or how to even go about doing it, and you don't have the funds to go and pay someone else to do it for you. Now you can get some AI software, basically tell it, make this song sound like this song that I really like, and it'll process the information and mix it and master it to its best ability. So on the upside, it's a convenient option for someone who is in a position where they don't know how to do mastering themselves or they can't afford to hire a mastering engineer. On the downside, that's one less job for an actual mastering engineer. And obviously, in these cases, I would imagine more often than not, it's going to be someone that's on the much lower level, sort of like intermediate as far as their productions are concerned. They're not an artist signed to a label, at least not yet. I also think it's kind of cool that you can type into ChatGPT, write me song lyrics in the style of this artist, and it'll give you a whole bunch of lyrics. Are they that great? Not necessarily, but it's at least a starting point if you want to use that for inspiration for your own works of music. And as far as the listeners in all of this, in response to that Drake and Weeknd song that got put out, a lot of people were really psyched on that song. Even after finding out that it wasn't really the Weeknd or Drake, they still liked the song. We exist in a consumer society, and I'm worried that we've reached the point, or we're on our way to reaching a point where it doesn't matter if the product that we're being served is the real thing, just so long as we have it. So yeah, that's where I'm at with all of this stuff. I don't even know where to go from here. I think there's room for development and new understanding of how to interact with this technology as far as the music world is concerned, but I certainly don't have all the answers on how to go about doing that, and things are traveling at such a fast pace it's hard to keep up with it. So I guess we'll see what the future holds. Alright guys, so that's all I got for you for today. I just wanted to jump on here and talk about this topic because it's been swirling around in my brain for the past couple days, and I would have shot video last night, but there was a thunderstorm and I didn't want the power to go out while I was shooting video. But if you like the video and you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you like what I'm doing here and you want to support me further than just liking and subscribing, I'll have a link down below in the description for my Patreon. Additionally, if you look down below the screen, I have merch now. So if you want a shirt, or if you know someone in your family that's a guitarist and will find the joke that's on one of my shirts to be amusing, then, go and grab it from the store. You'd be helping me out, you'd be supporting the channel, so consider it. But yeah, that's all I got for now. I'll be back with another video soon. In the meantime, you guys stay well. Thank you for your time. Keep playing. Peace.